Hi everyone, good day. I am Leia Maria Sambayon, a BS Social Work student and Section B1 from Filipino Personality and Social Work. And I will be discussing to you the Bowen'S theory, types of family and structure. So this is the part 1. So first, let us identify who is Dr. Murray Bowen. Murray Bowen was the oldest of 5 children, born on January 31, 1913, in the small town of Waverly, Tennessee. He graduated from the University of Tennessee with a bachelor's degree in science in 1934. Continuing his education at the University of Tennessee Medical School, Bowen received his medical degree in 1937. Bowen worked as an intern at Bellevue Hospital in New York City and Grasslands Hospital in Valhalla, New York. Shortly after, he served in the military for 5 years, and he began to develop an interest in psychiatry. Bowen was a U.S. Army physician during World War II who became interested in psychiatry after seeing the varying effects of trauma on soldiers. Bowen developed family systems theory because he believed that the family was the primary source of emotions and personality. Bowen's theory is invaluable for helping us to understand the variations in how different people manage similarly in stressful circumstances. Definition of family system theory. According to Bowen, a family is a system in which each member had a role to play and rules to respect. Members of the system are expected to respond to each other in a certain way according to their role, which is determined by relationship agreements. Within the boundaries of the system, patterns develop as certain family members' behavior is caused by and causes other family members' behavior predictable ways. Maintaining the same pattern of behaviors within a system may lead to balance in the family system but also to dysfunction. For example, if a husband is depressive and cannot pull himself together, the wife may need to take up more responsibilities to pick up the slack. The change in roles may maintain the stability in the relationship, but it may also push the family towards a different equilibrium. This new equilibrium may lead to dysfunction as the wife may not be able to maintain the overachieving role over a long period of time. The family system works by analyzing each of the subsystems involved in the general family system. Mental health professionals can find real solutions to familial conflict. This theory, created by Dr. Murray Bowen, is revolutionary and has ushered in a new and exciting world of family therapy. It is remarkable how much this theory can accomplish by breaking down the complexity of family systems into manageable pieces of relationship data. There are 6 different types of family structures in Bowen's theory. First is the nuclear family, which is the mother, father, and children. The nuclear family was the most common pattern of the family organization in the United States during the 1950s and consists of 2 adults and 1 or more children. It is an emotional system that includes at least a 2-person relationship in addition to a 3rd person to form the emotional triangle, which is the essential building unit in any emotional system. Bowen does not exactly mention what the nuclear family is, but rather defines its emotional functioning. He mentions that the beginning of a family in the average situation is a marriage. There are some exceptions to this, just as there have always been exceptions, which is all part of total theory. Bowen also points out that the term family ego mass refers to the nuclear family, which includes the father, mother, and children of the present and future generations. There are four basic relationships of nuclear family. First is the marital conflict. As family tension increases and spouses get more anxious, each spouse internalizes his or her anxiety into the marital relationship. Each focuses on what is wrong with the other, tries to control the other, and resists the other's effort at control. Second is the dysfunction in a spouse. One spouse pressures the other to think, act in certain ways, and the other yields to the pressure. Both spouses accommodate to preserve harmony, but one does more of it. The interaction is comfortable for both people up to a point, but if family tension rises further, the subordinate spouse may yield so much self-control that his or her anxiety increases significantly. If other necessary factors are present, the anxiety fuels the development of a psychiatric, medical, or social dysfunction. Third is the impairment of one or more children. The spouses focus their anxieties on one or more of their children. They worry excessively and usually have an idealized or negative view of the child. The more the parents focus on the child, the more the child focuses on them. He is more reactive than his siblings to the parents' attitudes, needs, and expectations. The process undercuts the child's differentiation from the family and makes him vulnerable to act out or internalize family tensions. The child's anxiety can impair his school performance, social relationships, and even his health. And lastly, the emotional distance. This pattern is consistently associated with the others. People distance from each other to reduce the relationship intensity but risk becoming too isolated. The basic relationship patterns result in family tensions coming to rest in certain parts of the family. The more anxiety one person or one relationship absorbs, the less other people must absorb. This means that some family members maintain their functioning at the expense of others. People do not want to hurt each other, but when anxiety chronically dictates behavior, someone usually suffers for it. And this is the second type of family structure. Single-parent relationship. Single-parent families are families with children under age 18 headed by a parent who is widowed or divorced and not remarried, or by a parent who is never married. Single parenting is most practiced, and one individual parent is accountable for nurturing of children. The extended family. An extended family is a family that extends beyond the nuclear family, consisting of parents like a father, mother, and their children, aunties, uncles, grandparents, and cousins, all living in the same household, together with parallel streams of the kin of the wife and husband.
Okay, that's all for me in family structures, and the remaining three parts will be discussed by Maylin Shabo. So, here is the second part of my report, the 8 interlocking concepts of family theory.
First is the differentiation of self. The core concept of Bowen'S approach refers to the manner in which a person is able to separate thoughts and feelings, respond to anxiety, and cope with the variables of life while pursuing personal goals. An individual with a high level of differentiation may be better able to maintain individuality while still maintaining emotional contact with the group. A person with a low level of differentiation may experience emotional fusion, feeling what the group feels due to insufficient interpersonal boundaries between members of the family. Highly differentiated people may be more likely to achieve contentment through their own efforts, while those with a less developed self may seek validation from other people. Differentiation is the process of freeing yourself from your family's processes to define yourself. This means being able to have different opinions and values than your family members, but being able to stay emotionally connected to them. Second is an emotional triangle. It represents the smallest stable network of human relationship systems. A two-person dyad may exist for a time but may become unstable as anxiety is introduced. A three-person system, however, may provide more resources toward managing and reducing overall anxiety within the group, despite the potential for increased stability. Many triangles establish their own rules and exist with two sides in harmony and one side in a conflict, a situation which may lead to difficulty. It is common for children to become triangulated within their parents' relationship. For example, a child asks a parent for ice cream. The parent says no. The child asks a second, third, and fourth time. The parent says, "Please stop, it's annoying." The child screams at the parent and begins to sob. The parent doesn't understand this reaction. The parent is unaware that their child was recently called annoying by a classmate. The child is devastated to hear the parent say something similar. The classmate may not be visible, but emotionally they are in the room. Third is family projection process. The transmission of a parent's anxiety, relationship difficulties, and emotional concerns to a child within the emotional triangle may contribute to the development of emotional issues and other concerns in the child. The parent may first focus anxiety or worry into the child, and when the child reacts to this by experiencing worry or anxiety in turn, may either try to fix these concerns or seek professional help. For example, parents pursue their child to have low self-esteem. They repeatedly try to affirm the child, and the child's self-esteem grows dependent on their affirmation. Fourth is the multi-generational transmission process. According to Bowen, depicts the way that individuals seek out partners with a similar level of differentiation, potentially leading certain behaviors and conditions to be passed on through generations. A couple where each partner has a low level of differentiation may have children who have even lower levels of differentiation. But when individuals increase their levels of differentiation, according to Bowen, they may be able to break this pattern, achieve relief from their symptoms of low differentiation, and prevent symptoms from returning or occurring in other family members.
That's all. So the remaining 4 parts will be discussed again by Maylin Shabu. So again, everyone, thank you for listening, and I hope you learned something coming from this topic. Thank you.